You watched the World Cup final. You saw Spain lift the trophy. What you didn't see was the deal reportedly happening in the background. According to The Times, FIFA's president offered Morocco the 2030 final, football's crown jewel, in exchange for a piece of paper endorsing his fourth term. Not for the game, for his job. FIFA calls it false. But here's what they can't call false. The Jordan Football Association president publicly accusing Infantino of blackmail, claiming FIFA dangled unpaid prize money until he endorsed the boss. The UEFA vote, 55-0, to boycott all FIFA competitions after Infantino tried to sell 20% of the World Cup to a firm run by the brother of Trump's son-in-law, his own senior advisor resigning in protest. The ethics committee chairman, he fired the year after they investigated him. You thought you were watching sport. You were watching a man trade the biggest stage on earth to keep his seat. And the pattern didn't start this summer. It started in 2016. This is what it looks like when nobody stops him. The Times report was specific. The 2030 World Cup final, football's crown jewel, reportedly traded for an endorsement letter. Not a bribe, not cash changing hands, something more elegant. The most valuable 90 minutes in sport, allegedly exchanged for a single piece of paper, backing Infantino for a fourth term. On August 5th, while FIFA headquarters in Zurich sat empty, Gianni Infantino was in Morocco. Rabat, specifically. According to Goal and Yahoo Sports, he had convened emergency meetings at FIFA's Africa regional headquarters as calls for his resignation mounted. The man accused of trading the final to Morocco was in Morocco, not Zurich, not FIFA headquarters. Morocco. The allegation came from Martin Ziegler, chief sports reporter for The Times, the journalist who broke the European Super League story and watched it collapse in 48 hours. According to The Times, Morocco hosts the final at the under-construction Hassan II Stadium in Casablanca, 115,000 seats rising from the outskirts, set to become the largest football-specific stadium on earth. And in exchange, Morocco publicly backs Infantino for a fourth term as FIFA president. FIFA's denial is categorical, and it may be true, but denials do not erase the pattern that surrounds them. The whole situation amounts to blackmail, and we refuse to give in to that. Those are the words of Prince Ali bin Hussein, Jordan's football chief, published across Forbes, Al Jazeera, and the Washington Post one day before the Times report landed. Prince Ali is not a minor figure. He is president of the Jordan Football Association, a former FIFA vice president who challenged Sepp Blatter in 2015 and then Infantino in 2016. He ran on a platform of transparency, and he is on record using the word blackmail against the sitting president, his accusation. During the World Cup, someone at FIFA told him that endorsing Infantino would go a long way to helping our football association out. What needed helping? Jordan's $4.2 million in unpaid prize money from the 2025 FIFA Arab Cup. Jordan reached the final. Jordan lost to Morocco. Jordan never received the check. Prince Ali's response: we did not endorse him before, and certainly will not now. Now look at the timeline. Prince Ali accuses Infantino of trading endorsements for unpaid money on August 4th. One day later, The Times reports Infantino allegedly offered Morocco the World Cup final for an endorsement. You see it, right? The pattern is identical. Support me, and I will make something happen for you. Refuse, and good luck getting what you are owed. The pattern did not start this summer. In 2016, FIFA's Ethics Committee investigated Infantino for accepting private jet flights from Russia, Qatar, and UEFA governments. The estimated value, €134,000. The committee also examined personal expenses billed to FIFA: mattresses, flowers, a tuxedo, an exercise machine, personal laundry. The committee cleared him. And then, within a year, the investigators who had run the case were gone. In 2017, Infantino removed the two chairmen of the FIFA Ethics Committee who had probed him. German Football Association President Reinhard Grindel confirmed on the record. The move against the chairman of the Ethics Committee was the initiative of FIFA President Gianni Infantino. Infantino also removed the head of FIFA's governance panel, the body that oversaw integrity checks on senior officials. The watchdogs who had cleared him were dismantled before they could look again. You understand what that means. If you've seen this playbook before, target investigated, target cleared, investigators removed, you're starting to recognize the pattern. That is the point. During his presidency, 4 Continental FIFA Council members were banned for corruption. 4 allies, 4 continents, all banned. One was described as an important ally in his 2016 election. Another was filmed taking $65,000 from an undercover journalist. Either Infantino surrounded himself with corrupt officials, or he looked away while they operated. The scheme was audacious. A $20 billion subsidiary called FIFA Forward Enterprise. The plan was to sell approximately 20% of the World Cup's commercial operations, including broadcast rights, sponsorships, ticketing, and licensing, to private investors. The anchor investor was Thrive Capital, founded by Joshua Kushner. Joshua Kushner is the brother of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump. The numbers were staggering. FIFA would raise up to $4.2 billion. Each of FIFA's 211 member federations would receive a cut, silence purchase federation by federation. And Infantino, according to the Times, was reportedly in line to become commissioner of the new entity after his FIFA term expires in 2031 at a potential salary of $30 million, 5 times his current $6 million, engineered by himself for himself. The man running football's non-profit was allegedly engineering his own payday, and the man who was supposed to be Infantino's senior advisor quit. I cannot stand by while FIFA considers selling a stake in the World Cup. That was Carlos Cordero, a former Goldman Sachs banker and former United States Soccer Federation president who sat on the White House task force for the World Cup, resigning in protest. He continued, "I had no involvement in this proposal, and I oppose it unequivocally. FIFA already has access to extraordinary financial resources. It sits on billions in reserves and no debt. This is a bad deal for football. That is not an opponent speaking. That is not a journalist guessing. That is an insider." And he walked away in public. In the vote room, 55 hands went up, 0 went down. On July 30th, UEFA's 55 member federations voted to boycott all FIFA competitions, including the World Cup itself, if the stake sale proceeded. UEFA's position: some things are simply too important to sell. The FIFA World Cup belongs to football. The World Cup is not for sale. CONCACAF, 41 member nations covering North America and Central America, also rejected the plan, citing lack of due process. The Asian Football Confederation rejected it too. AFC President Sheikh Salman said he was not consulted at any level and called Infantino's approach totally unacceptable. 96 of FIFA's 211 member nations openly rejected the scheme. Nearly half of world football said no. The plan collapsed within a week. The Trump connection did not start with Kushner money. It started with a phone call. During the World Cup, the United States played Bosnia-Herzegovina in the group stage. American striker Folarin Balogun received a red card. The suspension should have ruled him out of the round of 16 against Belgium. Then Trump called Infantino directly and asked for a review. Trump later admitted, "I asked for a review because I didn't think it was a foul. I didn't know what the hell a red card was." Think about what just happened. FIFA invoked Article 27 of its disciplinary code to suspend Balogun's one-match ban. He played in the round of 16 against Belgium. The reversal was virtually unprecedented in World Cup history. UEFA's response: the decision crossed a red line. It was unprecedented, incomprehensible, and unjustifiable. Former FIFA president Sepp Blatter, a man who had seen everything in football governance, put it simply: red cards are not overturned by political phone calls. FIFA had already bent Article 27 for Cristiano Ronaldo, with his 3-match ban reduced to 1 after he elbowed Ireland's Dara O'Shea in a qualifier, with 2 matches deferred to a 1-year probation. The rule existed to protect superstars and precedents, not to apply equally. What do you give the president who helped you bend the rules? You create a prize that did not exist. At the 2026 World Cup draw in December 2025, Infantino awarded Trump the inaugural FIFA Peace Prize. Football unites the world. No selection process was announced. No criteria were published. No candidates were named. Senior FIFA officials told reporters they were surprised. I watched the 2026 World Cup draw thinking the process was clean. I was wrong. The timing was notable. Trump had been passed over for the Nobel Peace Prize 3 weeks earlier. Infantino handed him a trophy and said, "You definitely deserve it." Fair Square, a human rights organization, filed a formal ethics complaint, alleging Infantino violated FIFA's political neutrality duty. FIFA's own ethics code allows bans of up to 2 years for such violations. The complaint sits on the record. The ruling has not arrived. You thought World Cup hosting was a competition. You watched Australia withdraw. Confused by the timeline, you didn't realize the timeline was the weapon, a coronation disguised as a process. In October 2023, FIFA announced that the 2030 and 2034 World Cup hosts would be chosen at the same meeting, using yes or no votes rather than competitive bids. Minutes after the announcement, Saudi Arabia declared its intention to bid for 2034. Australia withdrew, citing the short time frame and cost of a fast-track bid. Infantino had urged the Asian Football Confederation to be united behind a single candidate. There was no competition. Saudi Arabia became the only bidder. On December 11, 2024, FIFA awarded Saudi Arabia the 2034 World Cup by acclamation. No vote was necessary. The result had been engineered before the process began. No one had seen a World Cup awarded without competition since the 1960s. Ask yourself why. And Infantino announced Saudi Arabia as the winner a month before the formal vote, calling the outcome a formality. Saudi Arabia got a World Cup with no competition. Now Infantino needs them. They have not said a word. Wales was the first federation to break. On August 3rd, the Football Association of Wales formally withdrew its support for Infantino's re-election bid. Their statement, "Mr. Infantino has lost the confidence of the Football Association of Wales to remain at the helm of world football. Failures in good governance, processes, leadership values, stakeholder management, communications, and sound judgment." Serbia and Sweden followed on the same day. The English Football Association sent a letter withdrawing the support it had previously offered. Before this crisis, Infantino was expected to run unopposed in March 2027, just as he had in 2019 and 2023. That expectation is dead. The math of removal. If 43 member federations trigger a no-confidence vote, Infantino can be removed as FIFA president. UEFA alone has 55 members. The numbers exist. It comes down to this. Do enough federations decide they no longer trust the man at the top? Does your federation still back him? The 2027 FIFA presidential election takes place on March 18th in Rabat, Morocco, the same country Infantino allegedly offered the World Cup final. The candidate declaration deadline is November 18th, 2026. No challenger has formally announced. But Sheikh Salman of the Asian Football Confederation, the man who called Infantino's approach totally unacceptable, is considered a front-runner if he chooses to run. FIFA denies the Morocco allegation, but the pattern is not an allegation. The pattern is the record. In March 2027, FIFA votes in Morocco, the country that stands to gain or lose the final. The man who allegedly offered it. 43 federations can end this. The number exists. The mechanism exists. The only question is whether enough people use it. If you work inside FIFA or a federation, you have seen things. The comments are open. You will watch another World Cup cycle begin, knowing exactly what it cost to get there.